I Love Lucy, 1951 to 1957, remains one of the most beloved sitcoms of all time, bringing laughter to generations of viewers. While Lucille Ball and her iconic castmates made history with their comedic brilliance, time has since taken many of them from us. In this tribute, we remember 39 actors from I Love Lucy who have passed away, celebrating their unforgettable performances and the legacy they left behind. Who were they, and what happened to them? Let's take a look back at the stars who helped make this classic show legendary. Lucille Ball, who portrayed the beloved Lucy Ricardo, began her role in I Love Lucy in 1951 at the age of 40. Lucy, with her physical comedy and wild antics, was the heart of the show, a bumbling but endlessly optimistic housewife who constantly found herself in chaotic situations. Off-screen, however, Lucille's life was filled with turbulence. Her marriage to Desi Arnaz, full of passion and public adoration, was plagued by Desi's infidelity and his issues with alcohol. Their marriage, though, had moments of happiness, and they had 2 children, Lucy and Desi Jr., but it eventually ended in divorce in 1960. Lucille remarried twice, but her later relationships were marked by struggles and loneliness. Throughout her career, she faced professional challenges, particularly after the end of I Love Lucy, though she remained a television icon. Lucille also struggled with health issues in her later years, including a battle with heart disease. She passed away on April 26, 1989, at the age of 77 due to an abdominal aortic aneurysm.
Fred just called her. They did. They didn't. They didn't. They did.
Vivian Vance, who brought the character of Ethel Mertz to life, began her role in I Love Lucy in 1951 at the age of 42. Ethel was Lucy's loyal, if occasionally reluctant, partner in crime, often trying to keep Lucy out of trouble but often failing. In real life, however, Vivian's personal struggles were far from the humorous friendship she portrayed. Her first marriage to actor Phil Ober ended in divorce, and her second marriage to John Dodds was also short-lived. Vivian never remarried after that, and she struggled with feelings of loneliness and low self-worth. Throughout her life, she also battled health problems, including obesity and depression, which affected both her career and her personal life. Despite her success in television, Vivian's later years were marked by isolation. She was forced to retire from acting due to her declining health, and she passed away from bone cancer on August 17, 1979, at the age of 70, reflecting the quiet sorrow that defined much of her personal life, despite her fame and on-screen success.
Does she forget to make up her face?
Desi Arnaz, who played the charming Ricky Ricardo, began his role in I Love Lucy in 1951 at the age of 34. Ricky, a talented Cuban bandleader, was deeply in love with his wife Lucy, though often exasperated by her antics. Desi's personal life was even more tumultuous. His marriage to Lucille Ball, full of love but also public fights and infidelities, ended in divorce in 1960, despite their efforts to make it work. Desi struggled with alcoholism, and his personal demons, coupled with the collapse of his marriage, took a toll on his mental and physical health. Though he built a successful production company, Desilu Productions, his later years were marked by financial difficulties, failed relationships, and strained bonds with his children. His second marriage also ended in divorce, and his health deteriorated, ultimately leading to his death from lung cancer on December 2, 1986, at the age of 69.
Well, what are we going to do, Rick?
Well, we could get dates too, and go to the Copacabana and keep an eye on him.
William Frawley, who portrayed the cantankerous Fred Mertz, started his role in I Love Lucy in 1951 at the age of 64. Fred was the grumpy but caring landlord, often bickering with his wife Ethel, but his personal life was far from comedic. His marriage to actress Edna Frawley ended in divorce, and he struggled with alcoholism throughout his life. Williams' career was marked by a series of personal setbacks, and by the time I Love Lucy was in full swing, he was already battling poor health and facing financial difficulties. His personal demons, combined with his age, made him difficult to work with, and he faced rejection from Hollywood. Though he continued to work on the show, his health deteriorated, and he became increasingly isolated. His later years were filled with poverty and personal decline. William passed away on March 3, 1966, at the age of 79 from a heart attack.
You know, I'm forgetting about poor old Butch.
Hey, yeah, don't forget about him.
I'm going to give him a nice, juicy piece of this steak. You mind?
Go ahead.
Come on, Butch. Sit up there, boy.
Elizabeth Patterson, who portrayed Mrs. Trumbull, started her role in I Love Lucy in 1952 at the age of 78. Mrs. Trumbull was the Ricardo's sweet but nosy neighbor, often caught up in the whirlwind of Lucy's antics. Patterson, with her long career in theater, found great success in her later years with I Love Lucy, but her personal life was not nearly as fulfilling. She had been married once, but her marriage ended in divorce, and she had no children, leaving her to spend her later years in solitude. Though she was surrounded by colleagues and friends in the industry, her personal life remained marked by loneliness. Patterson's health declined in her later years, and she spent her final years quietly in her home. She passed away on January 31, 1966, at the age of 91, a peaceful end to a life that was defined more by isolation than by the success she had achieved.
I'd expect them to do something underhanded like that. Oh, now, Mrs. Trumbull, can't you be a little more understanding? I understand only...
Jerry Hausner, who played Jerry, Ricky Ricardo's agent, began his role in I Love Lucy in 1951 at the age of 42. His character was often swept up in the chaos of Lucy's schemes, serving as a beleaguered yet essential part of the show's comedic dynamic. While his role on I Love Lucy was a memorable one, Hausner's career was filled with minor television and voice acting roles that never allowed him to break into the limelight. Off-screen, Hausner's life was marked by deep struggles. He never married and led a life of isolation, battling alcoholism and depression. His personal relationships were few, and his struggle with addiction kept him at the margins of Hollywood's glitz and glamour. Hausner passed away on April 1, 1993, at the age of 83 from heart failure, a quiet and tragic end to a life full of unrealized potential, where personal demons often overshadowed his talent.
Let's see what else.
Hey, Ricky. Yeah? There's an act out there waiting for an audition.
What act?
McGillicuddy.
Doris Singleton, who played Caroline Appleby, began her role in I Love Lucy in 1953 at the age of 34. Caroline was a competitive, somewhat smug character who often tried to outshine Lucy, adding an extra layer of tension to the show. While Singleton was a skilled actress, her career never reached the heights she had hoped for, and her personal life was full of heartbreak. She married twice, but both marriages ended in bitter divorces, and she never had children, leaving her with a deep sense of unfulfillment. In her later years, Singleton faced significant health problems, including a debilitating stroke that affected her quality of life. Despite her career and her professional accolades, she was left grappling with loneliness and illness. Doris Singleton passed away on June 26, 2012, at the age of 92, her long life marked by personal and physical struggles, and a sense of quiet sadness that accompanied her through the years.
To double and redouble.
See, now that's going to take a lot of figuring.
Oh, say, have you heard about Joanne?
No, what about her?
They're getting a separation.
Kathryn Card, who played Mrs. McGillicuddy, Lucy's well-meaning yet scatterbrained mother, made her debut on I Love Lucy in 1954 at the age of 62. Her character was the epitome of a well-intentioned, absent-minded matriarch whose sweet nature and forgetful ways added humor to the show's already chaotic world. Yet off-screen, Kathryn's life mirrored the unpredictable nature of her character. Though her career as an actress had earned her some success, her personal life was far from the picture of domestic bliss. Divorced twice, Kathryn was estranged from her children and struggled with ongoing financial problems. The years were unkind to her, and she became increasingly isolated in her later years. Despite her successes on I Love Lucy, Kathryn's fading career and fractured personal relationships left her unable to find the comfort and joy she sought. On March 1, 1964, Kathryn Card passed away at the age of 71 from natural causes.
And in here. Oh? I didn't think Mickey had made his picture yet.
He hasn't, and his name isn't Mickey.
Well, whatever his name is, they got it wrong in here.
Richard Reeves, who played the mysterious and humorous assassin in I Love Lucy, first took to the screen in 1951 at the age of 39. Though his character was a minor one, often involved in the show's many misunderstandings, Richard's life off-camera was far more dramatic. Haunted by a troubled childhood, he struggled with relationships throughout his adult years. His first marriage ended in a bitter divorce, and his second marriage was just as tumultuous. Yet it was his battles with alcoholism that truly defined his struggles. As the years wore on, Richard's career suffered as his drinking became a constant problem. He was unable to find the stability he craved, leading to a series of career setbacks and strained relationships. Despite his best efforts, he was often overlooked in Hollywood, pushed aside for younger talent. Richard Reeves passed away quietly on March 17, 1967 at the age of 54, his cause of death linked to long-term health complications from years of alcohol abuse.
Hiya, Hank. Hello.
Lucy, what's going on?
Well, thought I'd join the game if you guys don't mind.
Well, what goes?
Look, honey, we'd love to play with you, but you don't know.
Bob Jellison, who portrayed the well-meaning yet often bumbling bellboy on I Love Lucy, began his role in 1952 at the age of 44. His recurring character was a source of comic relief, frequently finding himself caught in the absurdity of the Ricardo's hotel misadventures. In many ways, Bob's real life mirrored the clumsiness of his character. He had a promising start in Hollywood, but his career was marred by personal struggles that haunted him for years. His first marriage ended in a painful divorce, and his second was fraught with infidelity and emotional turmoil. Despite his professional success, Bob was constantly battling a deep sense of inadequacy, which led to chronic depression. He struggled to maintain a healthy relationship with his children and became increasingly withdrawn from the public eye. Bob Jellison passed away on April 21, 1980, at the age of 71, a tragic end for a man who had once brought laughter to millions.
Bobby, I just want to ask a little favor of you.
The answer is no.
Bobby, all I want to know is when he goes in or out so I can take a little peek at him.
He doesn't come in, he doesn't go out, he just stays there.
Ross Elliott, who portrayed the publicity man in I Love Lucy starting in 1952 at the age of 35, became known for his involvement in the show's comedic chaos and publicity stunts. However, behind the scenes, Elliott's life was marred by personal sorrow. In 1955, he married actress Marilyn Bryson, but their relationship quickly unraveled due to infidelity and emotional neglect. In 1970, their daughter Julie, just 11 years old, tragically died from leukemia, leaving Elliott devastated. Consumed by grief, he turned to alcohol to cope, which led to a series of professional setbacks and personal breakdowns. His acting career stagnated, and he distanced himself from the Hollywood scene. By the late 1980s, Elliott was a shadow of the vibrant actor he once was, struggling with depression and substance abuse. He passed away on August 12, 1999, at the age of 82, his health having deteriorated due to years of emotional turmoil and alcohol addiction.
Mrs. Ricardo.
Well, you said everybody.
Well, I meant all the girls.
Oh.
Lucy.
Well?
Mary Jane Croft, who played Betty Ramsey, Lucy's socially conscious neighbor in Connecticut, began her role in 1954 at the age of 38. As the character who often encouraged Lucy to take on new adventures, Mary Jane's on-screen persona was optimistic and supportive. Off-screen, however, Mary Jane's life was fraught with struggles. A talented actress, she enjoyed a steady career, but her personal life was a series of failed relationships and heartache. Her first marriage ended in a painful and public divorce, and her second marriage brought no relief as she faced continued emotional isolation. Though she found solace in her career, Mary Jane was often plagued by loneliness, unable to connect with those closest to her. As she aged, her health began to decline, and she faced financial struggles that left her burdened. Mary Jane Croft passed away on August 24, 1999, at the age of 83, due to natural causes.
Lucy, these are the people from House and Garden magazine.
Herb Vigran, who portrayed Jewel in I Love Lucy starting in 1952 at the age of 42, brought humor and warmth to the show with his comedic timing and interactions with the main cast. Yet, his personal life was far more tragic. Vigran married actress Bernice Baldwin in 1954, but their marriage crumbled under the strain of his emotional volatility and jealousy. The couple had 2 children, but their family life was marked by constant instability, with Vigran's personal issues overshadowing his professional success. His career began to falter, and he was plagued by financial difficulties and poor health, worsened by his heavy smoking. His health problems, coupled with his inability to cope with his personal failures, led to a decline in both his career and quality of life. Vigran passed away on November 29, 1986, at the age of 76, his life a series of unfortunate events that overshadowed his talents, leaving him with a legacy of personal heartache and unrealized potential.
That's strange. How much did it cost to fix it?
Oh, seeing that your friends, about $1.50. Say, they wouldn't want to sell this, would they?
I don't know.
I'll give them 50.
Peggy Rea, who appeared as a card player on I Love Lucy in 1953, was 32 years old when she began her role. Her character was a brief but memorable part of the series, often adding a sense of humor and joy to the dynamic of the scenes. Peggy's career, which spanned over 5 decades, included numerous television appearances, but she was mostly known for her small roles that highlighted her skill in delivering comic timing. Yet, her personal life was fraught with struggles. Married twice, her first marriage ended in an emotionally painful divorce, and although her second marriage brought her some happiness, it was marred by personal losses and difficulties. She was unable to have children, a source of deep sorrow for her. Her later years were marked by a quiet solitude and a growing battle with health issues. She passed away on February 5, 2011, at the age of 89, after a long battle with heart disease.
Just like that. And even if we couldn't, it wouldn't matter, because my friendship with the Ricardos means more to me than all the money on earth.
Charles Lane, who played the casting director in I Love Lucy starting in 1953 at the age of 48, was known for his stern, no-nonsense persona, often at odds with Lucy's frantic ambitions. While his professional career flourished, Lane's personal life was filled with pain. He married actress Betty Pomerantz in 1951, but their marriage became strained due to his alcoholism and emotional neglect. The couple divorced in 1960, and Lane's relationship with his only son, Robert, also became fraught with difficulty. In 1973, Robert was killed in a car accident at the age of 18, a devastating loss that sent Lane into a deep depression. His career, once filled with promise, began to slow as he withdrew from social and professional circles. Lane continued working but was never the same after the death of his son. He passed away on July 9, 2007, at the age of 102, after a stroke. Despite his success in Hollywood, his life was marked by personal tragedy and emotional scars that left him broken in his later years.
I knew it! It's a boy!
Congratulations!
It's a boy! I finally made it!
Well, it's not a boy.
Not a boy?
Tyler McVey, who played Bill Hall on I Love Lucy, began his role in 1954 at the age of 42. His character was part of the Ricardos' extended circle, occasionally appearing as part of their chaotic, often absurd adventures. Tyler's career in Hollywood saw a rise and fall of sorts, as he was often typecast in minor roles that prevented him from achieving the success he might have dreamed of. Despite his skill as a character actor, he struggled to find a stable career in Hollywood and was rarely given roles that showcased his true range. Tyler's personal life was equally marred by misfortune. He married twice, but both marriages ended in painful separations, leaving him with no children. His inability to maintain lasting relationships was a source of deep personal anguish, especially as he aged and saw his career continue to flounder. Tyler also battled alcoholism, a secret struggle that compounded his feelings of isolation. He passed away on July 4, 2003, at the age of 91, due to complications from his long-term battle with the disease.
Officer, my wife is on the dock. Stop the ship.
Well, now that's impossible, sir.
But...
Now, everything's going to be all right, Mr. Ricardo. She can come out on the pilot boat and come aboard when the pilot...
Tennessee Ernie Ford, who played Cousin Ernie on I Love Lucy, began his role in 1954 at the age of 35. Cousin Ernie was a country bumpkin, portrayed with the wide-eyed innocence of someone who was often unaware of the chaos around him, yet always charming and endearing. Off-screen, Tennessee Ernie Ford's life seemed far less innocent. As a celebrated country music singer, he found great success early in his career, but personal struggles haunted him. His marriage to his wife, Betty, was fraught with ups and downs, ultimately leading to his emotional withdrawal. The couple had 2 children, but their family life was never as idyllic as it seemed. Tennessee's career, while notable, suffered from periods of neglect, particularly as he faced deep personal struggles with alcohol and a sense of inadequacy. Tennessee Ernie passed away on October 17, 1991, at the age of 72 from liver failure.
But you ain't gonna believe this, nohow.
What happened, Ernie?
What happened?
I was going down the hall, and right there on the carpet, just as plain as the nose on your face, was a bus ticket. And do you...
Lee Miller, who portrayed the announcer on I Love Lucy starting in 1951, was 27 years old when he joined the series. His deep, authoritative voice was a staple of the show, providing the necessary commentary that added to the charm of the episodes. However, Lee's life off-screen was tragically short. A talented radio announcer and actor, Lee's career was on the rise before it was cut tragically short. Little is known about his personal life, but what is clear is that his early death at the age of 56 left many of his friends and colleagues in Hollywood shocked and heartbroken. Lee passed away unexpectedly on September 21, 1980, from an undiagnosed heart condition. His death was sudden and left an indelible mark on the I Love Lucy series, though his presence as an announcer was relatively brief. Despite the smallness of his role, his passing was felt deeply by those who worked with him, as he had already proven himself to be a significant talent.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, one of our newest stars here at MGM, Ricky Ricardo, in a special number with his partner, Mrs. Ricardo.
Alan Jenkins, who portrayed Officer Jenkins, began his role on I Love Lucy in 1952 at the age of 52. His character was a well-meaning but bumbling police officer, often caught up in the madness of Lucy's schemes, providing a gentle, comical contrast to the more chaotic members of the cast. While Jenkins enjoyed a long career in film and television, he was typecast in roles of similar comedic nature, and his career often felt limited by this. His personal life, however, was far more tumultuous. Jenkins was married twice, but both relationships were strained, marked by infidelity and unresolved conflicts. Despite his outward charm, he struggled privately with depression and addiction, which further fractured his personal relationships. Jenkins was deeply troubled by the loss of both his parents at a young age, which haunted him throughout his life. He passed away on July 20, 1974, at the age of 74, from lung cancer.
Television.
It was a lucky thing I dropped in here tonight when I came off duty. You must be the 2 babes who are pulling all that stick-up stuff in this neighborhood.
Elvia Allman, who portrayed the factory foreman, started her role on I Love Lucy in 1952 at the age of 48. Known for her stern, no-nonsense demeanor, Allman was unforgettable as the commanding foreman who watched over Lucy and Ethel during their ill-fated candy factory escapade. While Allman enjoyed a long career in film and television, she was often cast in roles that emphasized her tough, matronly image, limiting her ability to showcase the range of her talent. Off-screen, Allman's personal life was full of trials and tribulations. She was married twice, and both marriages ended in divorce, leaving her with deep emotional scars. Allman had no children, and she frequently struggled with feelings of loneliness and regret, particularly after the death of her second husband. Her career, though successful, was often overshadowed by her personal pain and the toll that the emotional strain of her personal life took on her. Elvia Allman passed away on March 6, 1992, at the age of 87.
All right, girls, this is the first stop. Now, you understand from your indoctrination session you're here for one purpose, to work.
Novello, who played Mario, began his role in I Love Lucy in 1951 at the age of 47. Mario was a charming, exasperated character who added a touch of international flair to the show, often caught in humorous misunderstandings with Lucy and her friends. Despite his early success, Novello's career never quite reached the heights he had hoped for. He frequently struggled to find leading roles, often relegated to supporting parts or character roles that seemed to limit his talent. His personal life mirrored these career challenges. Novello married twice, but both marriages were marked by instability. His first wife left him after a series of public scandals, and he later remarried, but that relationship ended in a bitter divorce. Novello was also deeply affected by the death of his only child at a young age, a loss that left him emotionally shattered. He passed away on September 2, 1982, at the age of 78 from a heart attack.
Do you, Ouija?
Harry Bartell, who played the jewel thief, began his role in I Love Lucy in 1952 at the age of 39. Bartell's character was involved in a humorous plot surrounding a jewel heist, adding a layer of comedic intrigue to the series. Although he was a skilled actor, his career never truly flourished, and he often found himself typecast in minor roles that didn't allow him to break free from the mold. Bartell's personal life was equally troubled. He married twice, but both of his marriages were filled with conflict and eventually ended in divorce. His relationships were often overshadowed by his struggle with alcoholism, a battle that deeply affected his family life. Despite his charm and professionalism on screen, Bartell's life was filled with emotional turmoil, and he found little solace in his later years. He passed away on February 26, 2004, at the age of 90, from complications related to old age.
Was downstairs in 1A.
Oh, say, haven't I seen you before? You're Ricky Ricardo, aren't you? Yeah.
Lawrence Dobkin, portraying the counterfeiter in I Love Lucy, started his role in 1953 at the age of 34. His character was a crafty and devious figure, introducing suspense and intrigue into the comedic world of the show. However, off-screen, Lawrence's life was far less glamorous. Though his early career showed promise, with appearances in both television and film, he became increasingly relegated to smaller roles as his career stalled. His two marriages were both turbulent, ending in divorce, and he faced difficulties in his relationships with his children. Struggling with isolation and bouts of depression, Lawrence's personal life was filled with disappointments and unfulfilled dreams. His final years were marked by a sense of neglect, both in his professional life and at home. Lawrence passed away on October 28, 2002, at the age of 83 from heart failure, leaving behind a career that had once seemed bright but ultimately faded into obscurity.
Madam is going in there to exchange American currency, n'est-ce pas?
Marco Rizo, who portrayed the talented pianist in I Love Lucy, embarked on his role in 1951 at the age of 36. As the musical genius behind many of Ricky Ricardo's performances, Marco infused the show with a rich Cuban flair, providing much-needed rhythm to the hectic chaos of Lucy's life. Yet behind the charm of his character was a musician deeply troubled by the dark side of fame. Although widely admired for his skills, Marco faced many personal struggles, including a turbulent family life marked by multiple failed marriages, all of which took a toll on his career and happiness. His passion for music often drowned out his emotional pain, and he found little comfort in the limelight. His inability to maintain stable relationships contributed to an overwhelming sense of isolation. Marco's death on September 8, 1998, at the age of 82 was a quiet end to a tumultuous life due to complications of old age. Shirley Mitchell, who played Marion Strong in I Love Lucy starting in 1953 at the age of 34, was beloved for her quirky portrayal of Lucy's gossiping friend. But while Marion's character was often the life of the party, Shirley's own life was riddled with turmoil. Despite her success in Hollywood, she struggled with 2 failed marriages and was left emotionally scarred by the breakdown of her personal relationships. Her children were often distant, and Shirley found it difficult to establish lasting connections with her family. She fought loneliness for many years, and her personal life remained a difficult balance between professional success and personal heartache. Though Shirley enjoyed a long career, her later years were spent in a battle with health issues, and she passed away on November 11, 2013, at the age of 94 due to natural causes. She left behind a legacy of work, but her life was marked by personal struggles and an enduring sense of loneliness that no fame could erase. Ray Kellogg, who played the airplane pilot in I Love Lucy in 1954 at the age of 35, was known for his versatile acting talent. However, his personal and professional life did not reflect the optimism his character often portrayed. Ray's career, while steady, never reached the heights he had hoped for, and he was often cast in supporting roles. His personal life was no less tragic, marked by a troubled marriage that ended in divorce. Ray turned to alcohol as a way to cope with his emotional struggles, which took a toll on his health and relationships. His later years were marred by physical decline, as his battle with alcohol led to cirrhosis of the liver. Ray passed away on September 26, 1981, at the age of 61, leaving behind a life overshadowed by personal demons and a career that had never reached its potential. His passing was a sad reminder of the toll that inner turmoil can take, even on those who seem to have it all. Phil Arnold, who portrayed Harry Henderson in I Love Lucy starting in 1953 at the age of 44, was known for his comedic roles, often playing the straight man to the chaos around him. His personal life, however, was anything but comedic. He married actress Marion Hill in 1957, but their relationship was strained from the start. Arnold's infidelity, combined with Hill's resentment, led to their separation in 1962. The pain of their broken marriage was compounded by the sudden death of Arnold's younger brother in a car accident in 1964, which sent him into a deep depression. Struggling with alcoholism, Arnold found it increasingly difficult to maintain his career, and his once promising future in Hollywood faded. He died on May 9, 1968, at the age of 58, from liver failure, his life marked by personal loss, addiction, and professional decline. His tragic end highlighted the painful toll of his emotional and physical struggles. Who is your favorite character from I Love Lucy? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.